a combined 25 All-NBA teams. They played in 24 All-Star games, winning 3 MVP awards. In the playoffs, they once beat Kobe and Shaq, Duncan and Robinson, and Olajuwon, Drexler, and Barkley in the same year. I'm telling you, you kids just don't know how good John Stockton and Karl Malone were. I can hear it now. They never won a ring. Pippen says the mailman doesn't deliver on Sundays. Stockton couldn't compete with these ultra-athletic point guards of today. Stop it. Malone and Stockton were a lethal combination. Here's why. Number 1, the pick and roll. Also known as the entire basis of the modern NBA offense, Stockton and Malone were arguably the greatest pick and roll combo we've ever seen. Here's how unstoppable they were. In the year 2000, the NBA first began tracking data on assist combinations. You know, which 2 players hooked up for the most assists. And in 2002, 2003, guess which tandem led the NBA in that category? Shaq and Kobe? Nash and Nowitzki? Think again. Tony Parker and Tim Duncan? Nada. It was Stockton and Malone. And Stockton was 40. Malone was 39. Imagine what they do in their primes, especially in today's game with the floor so spread out. Stockton and Malone would fit right in. Trust a brother. Stockton's one of the best shooting point guards we've ever seen. He shot 38% for his career from 3 and had 7 seasons in which he hit 40% or better from behind the arc. And Malone was simply one of the smoothest, most talented perimeter shooting big men in the history of the game. And he's the oldest player ever to record a triple-double. He also won 2 MVP awards, something no other player besides Michael Jordan did in Jordan's decade of dominance known as the 90s. Number 2, Stockton and Malone were both amazing players in their own right. Karl Malone is the second all-time leading scorer in history. More points than Wilt, more points than Kobe, more points than Michael, more points than LeBron. Think of it this way. If this season doesn't finish, and next year LeBron started all 82 games and averaged 33 points a night, he still would have fewer points than Karl Malone. Malone is the all-time leader in free throws attempted, free throws made, and games started. And John Stockton. Gary Payton once said this: guarding John Stockton was tougher for him than guarding Michael Jordan. I mean, it sounds crazy, but why in the world would Payton say such a thing? Well, Stockton is the all-time leader in steals with nearly 600 more than anybody else that's ever played the game. He's also the all-time leader in assists with more than 3,700 more than anybody else to ever play the game. In 1989-90, Stockton averaged 14 and a half assists a game. That's still an NBA record. In fact, of the top 6 seasons for an individual's assists per game, the highest ever, Stockton's got 5 of them. The boy dropped dimes. He was nice. And guess who's 57th on the list for assists? Karl Malone. He's got more career assists than these all-time great perimeter players: Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Grant Hill, and Manu Ginobili. The mailman did indeed deliver. He was one of the best passing big men we've ever seen. And in the 18 seasons that Stockton and Malone played together in Utah, they made the playoffs 18 times. Number 3, Stockton and Malone were winners. We all know that they went to the NBA Finals in 1997 and 98, where they did lose to Michael Jordan. But heck, everybody lost to Jordan. But who did Utah beat to get to those finals? That is incredibly impressive. They beat Shaq and a young Kobe twice. They beat Tim Duncan and David Robinson when both were balling. They beat Drexler, Olajuwon, and Charles Barkley twice. That is an impressive array of teams that you knocked out to get to Jordan. In Game 4 of the NBA Finals against Michael Jordan, the game is nip and tuck. There's less than a minute left. MJ misses a jumper. Stockton grabs the rebound, takes one dribble, full court pass, one-handed, right on the money, right over Jordan's outstretched arms, into the waiting hands of Karl Malone, where he lays it in for one of the more iconic plays in recent NBA times to give the Jazz the victory and seal that series at 2 games apiece. How about Game 5? I mean, Chicago was trying to close the Jazz out in Chicago, and Malone went for 39-9 and said, "We will not go home. Not yet, at least." And then in Game 6, heck, it wouldn't have been necessary for Jordan to pull off his heroics if Malone hadn't delivered 31, 11 boards, and 7 assists. And I mentioned that they beat Houston's super team. That's what it would be called today, of Olajuwon, Drexler, and Barkley. But guess how they did it? John Stockton, May 29th, baby, sinks a dagger 3 in the eyes of Barkley to seal that series. Number 4, Stockton and Malone were tough. I mean real tough. I mean ram tough. I mean, John Stockton was one of the best screeners for a guard that the game has ever had. His screens were legendary. And according to those that played against him, dirty. But hey, it's a tough game. You trying to win. And Karl Malone, 6'9", 260 pounds, built like LeBron James. He was so tough that he once faced Dennis Rodman in a tag team match with Hulk Hogan and Diamond Dallas Page. And talk about durability. I mean, load management was like a 4-letter word in the Utah locker room during the Stockton and Malone era. Stockton only missed 22 games in his 19 seasons. And in 17 of those seasons, he played all 82. And Karl Malone, he played 80 or more games, 17 years, and gave you 25 points and 10 boards across his career. I did those two together because they are forever linked in NBA history. They were such great teammates that in 1993, they were actually co-MVPs of the All-Star game. That's how unified these two were on the basketball court. Dream teamers, Hall of Famers. What more can I say? Other than now, you kids know how good Stockton and Malone were.
For the best access, perspective, and personalities in all of sports, follow us at Fox Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.